are again with the third week of the Coaches Show at Bull's Restaurant in downtown Long Beach. We'll start off with the show. Congrats, Coach, on the first win of the season, first home win.
Yep.
So that's a nice thing to get off the monkey off your back and go from there. Talking about after the win, what have you seen from the team this week? I know it's only been a couple days of practice. Motivated, ready to go, still understanding need a little bit of work to do, but
homecoming week, I think, brings an excitement in itself. I think the kids are ready to play this week. Definitely big monkey off the back to get the home win. I think the football team is really excited to see finally that hard work pay off. And I think it's that building block that we needed to take the next step. Now you just kind of see the kids with a different confidence now, and really excited about where we're heading.
Yeah, it's nice to show improvement every week, but to finally get over the top and get that, hey, it's working. All right, like always, we're going to start out discussing what you thought the game plan or the schemes would have been going into last week's game, and then we'll discuss the game itself. So what'd you think?
Schemes for last week, Wing T week always presents a bunch of challenges. We knew we had our hands full on defense and really thought, first half, early in the game, I thought we were very dominant against it. I think as the game went, we got a little tired, got wore out, we're there, and maybe the focus dropped a little bit when we had the big lead, and you started seeing some things happen, negatively. Offensively, I think, what a great performance. 57 points, guys trip, up for all kinds of player of the weeks, with local news media. Really excited about what we're doing there as a football team. So.
All right, well, we're going to start right off on that because the offense was on pace that day. Starts off the game with the kickoff, get the turnover. Man, couldn't ask for a better start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's fired up. One play, Johnny Pham, touchdown.
Right.
You're looking like a star, Coach. It's like, here we go. Let's roll this thing.
I like those early starts.
Yeah, and it seems for Long Beach or basically any team, you get that quick start. That's always better than being down or fighting through it for a little while.
Sure.
So I know you mentioned Geist Tripp. I thought he looked sharp again, getting the ball out early to his weapons. You had Gervais, you had Delijah, you had Kobe in the second half. Got rolling. I think he was 18 for 23. 330, 5 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
It's not a bad night.
You talk about somebody that, he's still, that's, his third start ever as a quarterback for varsity. To have that poise, to have that confidence to come out there and make those throws and lead his offense. You just see him walking around with kind of a different confidence to him. Which has been tremendous to see that growth. Of course, he doesn't do it by himself. Great performance by the all the running backs, all the receiving core, and then always the O-line protecting.
Yeah, we're going to get to all those because we are the stat sheet was full this week, Coach.
You put 57 up. There's a lot of folks to be happy and celebrate with.
Staying with Geist, he had the pick six, a little behind Dalton on that one pass, which happens. But I think he's pressed a lot of people this year. For, like you said, first-year starter.
Yeah.
You had Cade last year who transfers. Did you think coming into the year that Geist would be doing what he's doing right now? Or
I would say we hoped for it. I know that I know the kind of player Geist is. I know I know where his heart is. I know where his head's at, and we just knew if we could get him some early success, get him to believe in himself. The team's always believed in him. The coaches have always believed in him. It was kind of getting him to believe in him, and that's a tough thing, especially in that quarterback position where you're so judged and criticized for everything you do. It's tough sometimes, and so for him to have this early success, show that he can do it, and to see that the relationships he's built with his receivers, throwing to Delijah, they just kind of complete each other's sentences there. Gervais, you saw him really come out Friday night and be the Gervais we all knew he was. Dalton Cook and Kobe Cook comes in second half. So, seems like as soon as he touched it, went, took it,
70
making up for lost time, takes it to the house, and just to see them start building that chemistry, it has been fun to watch. So.
All right, well, Dan Nagashi said he was up for the Sun Herald Player of the Week. Hopefully that turns out to be something
Go vote
positive.
for him.
Go ahead. All right, running game. Look good again. Again, Johnny Pham, Tyree Peters run hard, elusive. Both of them pretty elusive.
Yeah.
Again, first-year starters coming in for Dennis Andrews, a senior last year.
Right.
Did you think they had it?
It's you look at all these guys, when they were on a middle school team together, coming up through the ranks, 9th grade JV football. These young men, they've been winning for a long time. This is a group, the senior and junior class that, I think all the Long Beach locals have known that, hey, if they could keep them together and they could play together, for several years, that we'd really have something special. And I think you're seeing that. These are guys that, hey, maybe they didn't, maybe they weren't the stat line the last few seasons and the highlights of the newspaper, but we knew what we had coming up. It was just a matter of getting them matured and grown up, and now it's their time, and they're making the most of it for sure. So
they allow you to keep balanced on offense. You get a handoff. They both can catch the ball pretty well out of the backfield. Just some stats. Tyree had 15 rushes, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Johnny had 11 carries for 104 and a touchdown. 200-yard rushers. Pretty good night.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's just the beginning, Coach.
Sure.
Just the beginning. All right, so now we're going to get into the – all right, brought up Delijah. Another great game by Delijah. Usually around 200 yards of total offense. I don't think he got the 200 yards this week.
Right.
But, again, dynamic when he gets the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Consistent weapon. He's almost unstoppable when you get short yardage in the Wildcat.
Yeah.
With the chance if you do Wildcat early, you can break it for the run.
Right.
So it's always nice.
Yeah. Delijah, I mean, he's just kind of, he's a talent that, not every school has. I mean, he's a guy that, you got to find and script ways to get him the ball. We've talked about that, and each week. And look, he's not even the only weapon. That's the thing. It's we're able to get him open because, heck, you key on Delijah. Now Kobe Cook's open. Now Dalton Cook's open. Gervais, Danton Pierce. There's so many folks. And then, you cover all our receivers. Now, all right, we're going to throw it short to Johnny and let him make a play with his legs. We're going to throw it short to, to Tyree, to, Devon. I mean, there's just it's, how do you spread it out and keep them all happy,
Right,
so.
before you steal all my thunder, Coach, because we're going to get to those.
Sorry.
I want to talk about one play Delijah scores on, which I've never seen it done before. The screen pass, McMillan carried him in the end zone.
Yeah.
Now, I know you could push him in the end zone, but I didn't know you could carry him in the end zone, but that was kind of different for me. Andrew was out. I had the binoculars on up in the booth, and you.
Yeah, I don't know if we give the touchdown to Andrew.
You can half it.
If we can half it, what do we do?
You mentioned some of those receivers. Again, we had Gervais Foxworth, 5 catches, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Seemed like that slant was open all night long.
Right, yeah.
You had Delijah had 5 catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Sure.
Kobe Cook had 4 catches, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. Only played in the second half.
Yeah.
First touchdown, 70 yards or so. Mm-hmm. I know Coach Brady had talked to me today, and he told Kobe, let's make up for lost time.
Right.
We're coming right to you.
Right.
So far, Coach, you got 200-yard rushers and 3 100-yard receivers.
Yeah.
That's it's a pretty good night. That's
yes,
stack stuffers.
Yes, indeed.
Dalton Cook, you mentioned him.
Yeah.
He didn't have a big night receiving the ball this week, but he did make a half of a play on the missed extra point.
Right.
He fumbled, got the snap and threw.
Yeah.
That's a nice luxury,
Absolutely.
keeping his head there.
Yeah.
Once again, graduated 3 seniors last year. You had Kai, you had Charlie, and you had Logan. And now you got to put in a new group.
Right.
Did you know they were coming? I mean, you keep saying, we know.
Well,
you got to see them grow.
That's the good thing. When you have, great players make people around them great, and you had so long, you had, the Cade, the Dennis, Kai, Logan Mathern, you name it. And what's happened is these guys that were underneath them in age, watch them make those plays, and I think there's some mentorship there of those credit to those older guys of hey, this is how we do business, this is how we act on Friday nights, and and we talked to the seniors about that last year. We said, look, we don't know when the time's going to come that this thing flips. most of the time, when you come in, brand new program, that senior class, they have to build that foundation for you, and they might not get to see the fruits of their labor, but they're the foundation that started it. And, I think that you see a lot of that now is, these younger guys that, hey, this is just what we do. We get the ball in our hands and we score with it. So,
as a competitor, an athlete, whoever was before you, you want to outdo them. So the fact that you have some good quality, you got to raise the bar every year. All right, with that all being said, truly impressed with the offensive line.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys never get mentioned enough.
Right.
Andrew McMillan, Wes Borland, Kyle Morgan, Terrell Weber, R.J. Johnson, Roderick Walker when you go big package.
Right.
Without them, none of this gets done.
Right, exactly.
You never hear their name. They're not going to get in the paper or have the interview after, but, man, they're being awesome. On that note, I know Geis got sacked this year, maybe, 5, 6 times off the top of my head.
Sure.
I know you had 3 of those were on the last drive at Stanislaus when they know we're throwing.
Right.
I think at one, Johnny Fan ran into him on one and knocked him down. It was probably a sack. Besides that, you're talking 2 sacks on the year. That offensive line is doing some work.
Right, they really are. They really are. Again, our offense coach, our coordinator, Coach Brady, and Coach Ross Bankston, they were 2 new additions to the staff. They tag team that O-line. With having your coordinator coach in the O-line, felt it was a big need to give him kind of an assistant O-line coach as well. So, give them a shout out for the work that they've done. Heck, that's 3 years in a row of a new O-line coach at Long Beach, and to get them right in that quick of a time and give them some stability, and then again, these kids, these guys to be open to new coaching, open to, a new voice and falling in line and learning what they have to teach you. And, you see it sinking. And, at the end of the day, too, that whole group, that whole O-line is very close to each other. They're all best buddies, and, you can see the chemistry come out on the field.
Yeah, and you need that,
right?
Especially O-line.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up offensively. I can't remember when Long Beach had a 300-yard passer, 2 running backs over 100 yards, and 3 receivers over 100 yards in one day.
Right.
I mean, I've been here for a long time now. I'm not saying it never happened, so don't quote me on that. But I can't remember it. But I guess when you score 57, you're going to fill up the stat sheet.
Sure.
That's 526 yards of total offense. The offense did a great job. Now, defensively. Despite giving up 49, I think it was a long night for them. But you talked about the wing tee. The wing tee is more effective in the second half.
Yeah,
because,
sure.
You see the play go outside. Well, as a young kid and a young player, when you see it start to break outside, you're going outside.
Right.
And then they come back with the counter.
Right.
So it gets more effective as it goes along because you read it and then they change it. No. I thought they played hard at the beginning. I thought there was a lot of gang tackling.
Right.
Look, when I walked into the stadium Friday night, I sat down, I had a notepad, and the first thing I wrote was 32. He's a big boy for them. So, you had to take a lot of guys to tackle him. I think late it could have wear and tear and the count, the change of direction. But I think they, overall, I thought they fought. The discipline, we missed a couple discipline things, I think. Again, wing tee, you never see
it. Well, it gets you chasing the ball one way, and then they come back on you, and you over pursue, or you get tired, and you're supposed to be watching your key here, and as the night goes, it's, hey, I lost vision on my guy, and then, heck, they don't need much to get you in wing tee.
Right,
so.
And it's also really hard to teach a kid at this level that you got to do your job and not watch the play.
Right, exactly.
Because everyone kind of sits here and watches it, and then before you know it, you got burned.
Exactly.
Talking about the defense, we seem to get, like you just said, we're getting beat, tucked in on the outsider stuff. Is that what we're pushing on the practice, focusing on more of that, attention to that?
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Wing tee's hard to simulate when you don't run it yourself, so you're talking about all week in practice, what quality of look. And, we do a lot of ones versus ones as far as service, giving the looks to each other. Like, the one defense will serve as a look team, running whoever our opponent is that week, their defense, and then our offense does the same. But, it's hard to get the timing and simulation down with that. And, at the end of the day, you look, and we really did do well versus it in the beginning. The numbers, I think, don't tell the story. I think a little bit of that is getting comfortable on the big lead. Then, the pick six, of course, that counts points against the defense, but, there's a pick six there where it felt like, hey, let's run the ball, let's get in here, let's either, take that chance and goes the other way. Then, put the defense in a bind with we don't get the onside recovered kick, and so I mean that stuff like that wears on you, and especially in a game where somebody's just leaning on you, running. You leave that defense out there 70, 80 plays, and they're going to break at some point,
Yeah.
So but I mean, it can't happen. They had the chance to put them away, and we need to do that. We got to be more aggressive, maybe how we call things, as a coach and staff on defense. And we got to make the tackles when we can make them. So.
Yeah. And I know we got some big running teams coming up in district.
Sure.
So let's hopefully get that settled and we'll be good to go.
Definitely not the last wing tee we'll play.
Yeah. And just for those people out there that don't know the wing tee, basically you can run the same play with 4 or 5 options off of the one play.
Right.
They all run the same way. So it's really hard to defend, especially when you're chasing. Okay. Late in the game, Coach, I actually heard the fans saying defense. I was pretty excited about that. They're getting there behind the players.
Yep.
Finally, we got some fan reaction that was positive instead of, we did this or he did that. And, finally, we were coming together.
Sure.
My wife said the student section was pretty good, even though I was calling them out as a loudspeaker, trying to get them going. I always like to play with those kids. They're a lot of fun to do that. But it was nice to see that. I seen the people getting behind. All right, scary moment at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
2, actually.
Yeah.
First, you had a little bit of almost of a confrontation. I don't remember the player. I don't even want to discuss that. But where he lost his cool, I thought 2 of your players grabbed him.
Yeah.
Really good. Kept us out of the penalty.
Right, yeah.
Was really smart, helping the teammate out.
Yeah.
The last play of the game, 4th and 9. They get about 8.5. We knock him out of bounds, and all of a sudden, here comes the yellow flag. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Here we go again.
Yeah.
I didn't know it in the booth. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how they pointed towards us.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really march it. And I was like, oh, God, what happened? And then I find out it was dead ball or after the play.
It was after play penalty, so it didn't help. We tackled the guy short of the first. Then the penalty happens. It was a dead ball penalty, so that's why.
Right. It didn't add to their end of the run.
Right.
It actually gave us the ball and put us 50
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
But I bet you when you saw that one go down, you're like, oh. Yeah. I had to have a little bit in the air. It's got to be.
Well, look, they run a little trick play there. And when we'd worked it, we knew they had it, and but you can work things all the time you want, but I mean, trick plays are trick plays for a reason, and we call a safe coverage there. We back them all, back the DBs off because they've got, I forget the exact down and distance, but we back them up to where the first down marker is, and here they come with we call it the hitch and pitch. So they throw the hitch route, kid catches it, and then pitches over the side, and what you have there, I mean, even there's no real great coverage that takes that away. There's not a great call. We're sitting back safe on it, and luckily we had some guys there to rally, make the tackle. But shout out to Elijah Handy, freshman playing. He's the kid that makes the tackle, runs it down from about 12 yards away on a play where we teach hustle for the defense all the time. Hey, play goes away from you. Don't stop and watch it, run it down, and here's a freshman who's going to be a fantastic player for us.
He's got a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. He runs and goes, and he runs the thing down, and his effort on the play ends up being the result in the win.
Yeah, really, half a second, tenth of a second later, you get enough of a first down. It's a different thing.
Outstanding play by him. So.
All right. Something I need to ask you tonight. All right, we all know about McMillan going to USA.
Right.
Anybody else getting looked at?
Yeah, we've got some guys. Right now it's there's not much going on with the recruiting world, and let me get us set back up here.
So your recruiting is kind of like with softball; they are playing at the same time. It's hard for them to get out on Friday nights.
The college coaches, they're playing their own games right now, so they're not. You don't see them around as much. The spring, we probably had more spring visitors. I had a lot of people within the program say, Coach, we've seen more scouts come through here than ever. And, we had regional coaches all the way to, wherever. I mean, we had a ton of attention on the Long Beach Bearcats this year. And, so I think that, and that's what you got to tell these kids is the best way to get recruited is be the last team playing at the end of the year. They start coming around again, and it's usually end of the season playoff time. And when you're the only show still playing, you're going to have 20 coaches at your practice.
That's why the NFL plays on Monday night.
Yeah,
so you get the full audience.
I think there's a lot of guys that are right there in the college's eyes, and if they can really put the exclamation point on their senior season, then, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So.
And I know, I'm sure you do, that a lot of these kids, they got to know when they're being recruited. They're in the building already. They know you got talent.
Right.
You got to watch yourself on and off, the way you act on
Right.
and feel it off,
Absolutely.
because that's really what they come in.
Absolutely.
They'll nix you real quick if you throw
Right.
hot heads.
Absolutely.
But I think that you've been good. All right. Now we got homecoming week coming up next week.
Yep.
Van Cleve's in town. Always a good game to win with all the alumni and everybody. It's like, you
Right.
win that
Yep.
one, pretty much everything's good.
Yep.
What do you think about Van Cleve? Without going into too much. I know
Sure.
last week they had a tough run.
Yeah,
played.
they drew East Central, which is a rivalry game for them. East Central is one of the best teams in the state at any level. And Van Cleve, you look at the teams they played. I mean, they are doing some good things. They've run a ton of looks. They have a bunch of formations on offense. They give you a bunch of different looks and packages, and it's almost a spread version of a wing tee offense. There's some wing tee things in there. They'll run the trap play still. They'll get under center a little bit and give you the eye backfield. So they're going to test you and see, hey, can you stop the run? And then, here's the thing. They got a quarterback that can sling it enough that you start loading up the box, and they're not scared to throw a deep one on you. Their coach over there, former quarterback himself, you can tell he's done a good job mentoring his quarterback and his passing game as well. So, they're not one side. You can't just load up and stop them, or they can get over the top on you. So we got our hands full there. Defensively, I can remember them last year. Those kids play hard for Van Cleve. They're not going to lay down. They're tough kids, and they run some good schemes on defense. And I think we got our work cut out for us for sure. But the thing I like is I like where we're at right now. I like our mood. I like the way we come to work and handle our business. And I think if we can play our best version of Long Beach football, I think it should be a good game Friday night. So
yeah, I think the closeness of this last game, it gave them that vindication of the win,
right.
but also still makes them hungry. Like we could have done. I mean, that's always good to have a little hunger
Right.
on the football field.
Right.
All right. On a side note. Next week at the homecoming, we got alumni cheerleading event, Coach, with all kinds of ages and people out there between the first and second quarter. That should be pretty entertaining. Like I said, in order to have a win streak, you got to have more than one. So
Yep.
we need one more, right?
There you go.
And we'll start
There you
rolling
go.
with this. All right. Well, I guess we'll take a little halftime break and check out some film when we get done.
All right.
And then we'll be back right here at Bulls.
Sounds good.
We'd like to thank Bulls Restaurant in downtown Long Beach for hosting the Bearcat Coaches Show every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. Bulls Restaurant, downtown Long Beach.
All right, here we go back at Bulls for the second half of the show. We've added a little bit to our show. We got Coach's daughter, Blythe, looking to
hi.
get some more views, some likes here.
Can you say go Bearcats?
Not at all.
Not yet.
Now you're on TV. You're going to be famous.
Should warm up to it.
Yeah. All right. So again, usually the second half we do a little bit of film work. So we're going to leave this one up to Coach.
All right.
After the turnover.
So right here, looks like we're just running a little counter power right here. Okay.
Look at that hole.
Nice hole opening it up. What actually happens is we should have a motion out of this H-back. If it looks like they're sitting on top of each other, we should get a motion. We forget to send him in motion, but it's okay because he's heading that way anyway. Okay, so Johnny does a great job adjusting out the back door.
RJ doing a nice block right there.
RJ, good job on the block, sealing that off out of RJ Johnson. Nice double team, physical double team out of Tyrell Weber and Andrew McMillan. You want to get down? Okay.
Just on a side note, you don't have RJ listed in the roster, Coach, up for the upstairs. But that's a side point.
We'll get that fixed.
You got doing a block like that, you got to give him.
So this is just same clip from a different angle. Got two angles every clip.
There's Jenny down the bottom. Look at Jenny
you
working hard.
Okay, next play on here.
And I think this is what Geis does good. He gets the ball out of his hands real quick.
Yeah,
on
definitely.
time, which
Definitely.
is you hear it every day or every weekend on the NFL,
Yeah.
college. Hit that third step, boom, get it out.
Offense is so much about timing. If you can if you can read your keys and if you can get the ball out when you want to, you know, there's almost nothing a defense can do with a well-timed offense. And, you know, right here, got the called run play. He's seeing what he wants with his numbers out here, so he likes the matchup. So he pulls it out of the run, throws a slant backside, you know, actually an outside zone look right here from the offense. And we like the slant out the back door. And, you know, big play for the Bearcats.
Yeah, you get Gervais in front of the corner, he's hard to stop.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see when he gets it right in that inside, you just got to get into his chest.
Yeah. Show that one again. You know, Gervais made a lot of plays in his time at Long Beach, you know, on this backside slant. You know, really a dynamic player on that route for us. And, you know, we're going to always look to get him the ball as much as we can. So, you know, here it is again. Okay, another time we come to it. Okay, throwing the fake. There it is again, Gervais. Just, hey, they're going to leave him alone backside. You know, we're going to take advantage of that matchup. And, you know, we see what we want. So there you go, down on the goal.
Nice little move at the end.
Yep.
Again, gets it out of his hands quickly.
Yep. It's a great job, great play. This will be a little better from the wider angle, but we'll let this one run through and then we'll talk about it. All right, so right here, we get them in the trips look. What we want to do, we're running our 4 verts concept. You know, right here, dividing the field up in 4s like we've talked about. We want to put this safety in a bind. So Geis is seeing the safety. You know, he's got to make a decision which one's he going to cover out of Delijah and, if I don't screw this up here. All right, I'll let it get back to the back now. Technical difficulties there. All right, so right here, like I said, the safety, you know, we're putting him in a bind, one guy to cover 2. Geis does a great job fitting the ball in right over the linebackers. And here's Delijah doing what Delijah does, you know, making big plays, stretching the field out. You know, look at the speed. I mean, you know, he's a track star for our track team, which, you know, obviously had a great season last year. And, you know, here he is right here, getting him in the open field. Good job putting the ball right where it needs to be.
You get him in space, and he's there.
Yeah, you know, and there he goes. So that's awesome. Great job.
There you go, flying. Look at him.
Yeah.
This might be the touchdown, right? With McMillan, possibly.
I think so. Yep.
No, that's Tyree.
Yep, Tyree. Yeah. I do want to say it's on here.
Yeah.
All right. So right here.
I'm always impressed with Wes Borland how he gets out there from that center
outside
spot.
zone. You know, we like, you know, like we said, you got to use your athletes the way that, you know, to their strengths. Wes, like we talked about last week, very athletic player on the offensive line, and to get that snap out there and then the lead block out there on the outside. Good job blocking from the receivers, giving us enough. And Tyree Peters running hard like Tyree does. And here we go.
A little side note about Wes, the pink towel is for his granddad.
There you go.
Because he can't see the white one so well, so he went to the pink towel.
There you go.
Gotta love a guy like that. Anything for family.
Yep. Good physical run.
Judging by the darkness, this could be second half action.
Yep. Here's the screen where Andrew,
Hey, where he picks him. Look.
Yeah. Touchdown, Andrew McMillan.
I don't know if you give him half and half. Elijah probably would have got in, but you know, McMillan lending a hand.
So right there, running the slip screen to Elijah. You know, again, just we want to get the ball out. They're bringing heavy pressure. We're going to use their pressure against them. You see how we're cutting them free on purpose. You know,
this defender does what I would do, Coach. He just kind of falls down in front of McMillan.
Exactly.
Yeah. He just said, "No, I'm not dealing with that." That's a big boy.
You know, get the ball out. That's the thing you want to talk to. You know, especially younger quarterbacks. You know, look, get the ball to your players and let them make some plays. Run the offense, and Geis does a great job of that. We got a bunch of weapons out there. And, as soon as we can get them the ball, the sooner they're making big plays.
And that goes to guys' reading, pre-reads,
exactly.
and things like that.
Yep.
That's what you do.
Yep.
You're just not throwing it to anybody. You're looking what the defense will do.
I'm trying to look who this is right here with the block. Is that Gervais? Pretty good block right there. I don't know if that's Gervais or Kobe. Yeah. But, nice little block. And then there's Andrew finishing right there. It's awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff right there.
It's the same play.
Same play, just a wider angle.
Yeah. We're going to have to talk to our production crew about that.
Yeah.
We'll get on that. All of our staff of none. And this is Kobe, right? First catch of the second half.
Kobe's big play. Gets in the game. He's over there itching on the sidelines to get going. And, there we go.
We had a good start at the beginning for the team. Kobe has a good start in the second half.
Yeah.
Things look good.
You can see, what we want to do right here. We get them in a bunch set. 3 receivers to, when we get them in tight, you call that bunch. And we bunch them up so that the blocks happen quicker and we can make sure Kobe's protected when he catches it. And so, the thing is can we get him the ball and get his shoulders turned upfield? And as soon as we get that done, now it's just Kobe being Kobe, and he's off to the races.
And if you go back to that, you see Delijah making a good block. It's good to see those, big players making the blocks and things like that.
Well,
teammates.
There's the old phrase, you got to block to get the rock.
Yeah.
If you want the ball,
I'll help you.
all right, you better block when you don't have the ball. And what it is, it's a sign that your team, doesn't have a selfish bone in their body. When kids, who are especially at the skill position and they're sacrificing themselves to go block, that's a great sign right there. And you see Dalton Cook doing a great job sealing it up. Delijah doing a good job right there on a linebacker. Mm-hmm. That's not an easy block for him to make. And right there, great job.
And every one of them could go to the distance at any
absolutely,
time.
Absolutely.
Like I said, Dalton didn't have a big stat night, but you could see right there he did a lot of good things.
Just doing his job.
Yep.
So. All right, here.
Under center, Coach?
Yeah, hey, look, I told y'all a couple weeks back, I said we've worked it. We have worked it. And, I didn't want it to be a big secret, but, I told Coach, I was like, hey, we're getting under center right here, and we get down the goal line, and, we're not going to have those conversations anymore. And, here we are. Great call by the offensive coordinator. They're not expecting it. They're playing back right here. Here we go. Geis gets under quick. Almost gets too. You can see he's ready to go. Yeah, he's almost too antsy. And great job pushing him in, getting in there, and touchdown.
A new wrinkle.
Bearcats. Yep. Just one more thing you got to worry about.
That's paid off. We used it.
Oh, yeah.
All those days, a couple days prior, you got it done, Coach.
Absolutely. Defensive clips. Right here, this is that first half where we're really you can see right here, early on, we're fresh, and Cameron Matthews, great job coming off the edge, just stoning this kid. And what it does is it bottles that up, and there's nowhere to go. We switched it up this week and, gave him a little bit of a 4-down look, which versus wing T stuff, we like that. A couple more bodies in there. We made it happen with a linebacker in there, but it's a 4-down front. You see Jonathan Ulrich right here playing the defensive end, because he's set to the weak side. So we told him, hey, the outside backer on the weak side, you're going to walk up and play defensive end. And, the offense isn't ready. They're thinking we're in a 3-down. All of a sudden we're in a 4-down, and they hadn't prepped it or worked for it. And great physical play right there. This is tough stuff right here.
Yeah, you put Dickerson back there in the Wildcat. It's not like our Wildcat. It's not slashy.
Oh, yeah.
That's physical right there.
Absolutely.
He's going to come right at you.
Absolutely, yeah.
They did a really good job.
Second angle of the same play.
There you go. Oh, that's a good stick right there.
Hey, right here. Hey, biggest point of it right here, 4th down. 4th down, 4th and short. Wing T, 4th and short, 3rd and short. Those almost always go to the wing T offense, And that's what we harped on to the defense was, hey, we get in these short yardage situations, we're going to bottle them up. We put a pinch call in, which means basically we slant our entire defensive line, inside. We want to really squeeze off those inside gaps and make the ball have to bounce out.
And there's Elijah Handy on the outside.
Yeah, Handy, true freshman, Elijah Handy in here making plays and coming strong off the edge. Good job out of the linebackers, D. Allen and Marcus.
Can't tell who hits him at the low there, but nice little hit. Coming from that weak side, maybe 50.
That's going to have to be either Jace Neal or it looks like Jaleel Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Jaleel and Jace kind of both getting involved right there, getting low. I mean, that's a big-time play right there.
He's impressive, Jaleel. For the inside, man.
I'm telling you, he plays
inside that middle.
He plays as hard as anybody I've ever coached.
He's doing something.
And the thing about it, his practice habits are the same. He's the same way, whether he's on scout team defense, giving the offense a look, or whether it's Friday night and the lights are on. He's going to play hard and be the same guy all the time. And that's a credit to him and his work ethic.
Yeah, you see him on the field, and you're like, oh, we'll go after him. That's the mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to make you pay for that one. You just don't
so right here's that reverse, that hit as the night went on, but you can see clips early on, hey, we're all over it. It's just, with this stuff, I mean, you get lazy, you get tired in one play. I mean, you can see clips of us stopping the exact same play, and then here it comes later on. And
you're talking about defense reading it.
Yeah.
And then when you read it, you're, I've seen this before.
Right.
I'm going there.
Yeah, exactly.
And they change it a little bit.
Exactly.
It happens.
I think that's Jaron Evans making that play there. Let me rewind. Coming through strong, Yeah, he just blows that whole thing up. That's a great job by Jaron Evans. Just
nice to have him back in Long Beach.
He takes 3 blocks out. 3 blocks by himself right here. I mean, great job, Jaron Evans. Just, hey, he said, I'm going forward and you're not stopping me. So I like it right there.
There's the pink bucket I was talking about off camera.
Yeah.
The meal.
Right here, I want to say this is opening kickoff where he fumbles it. Great hustle play, and we're all over that. Is that J.R. McFarland, I think, on the or Tyree? I'm trying to see. Is that
I don't know
4?
who hits him first, and then I think Tyree might have gotten it.
Yeah.
It looks like Tyree at 4.
I think that's Johnny Pham covered down. Yep, Johnny Pham makes the initial hit, and then that's Tyree, I think, that comes up with the fumble recovery. Just guys hustling to the football, Special teams has got to be an edge for us. It's got to be, something we take serious and
Jump start too. That helps.
Absolutely.
I think you see Coach Bankston down here. If it's the same play, getting a little excited.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get it on this clip.
Yeah. Cut us out a little bit. Yeah.
Down the bottom.
There we go. Right here, we found something here on our field goal block unit. Elijah Handy, the freshman, again. I mean, he had 2 on the night. He said, Coach, he was able to time it up. He's just a very instinctive football player. And that stuff changes the game. It changes the game when you can take away points. And he did 2 of them makes it look easy. I mean, how many people, blocking field goals is one of the hardest things to do in football. And, for him to take 2 on the night, I mean, that's extremely impressive to me. So. Mm-hmm. Here's the second one right here. We get a closer look. He's on the edge, times it up. And you can see he just has that time up. And, here he comes off the edge.
He almost went by
it. I mean, he almost beat it and ran past the thing.
Catch one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take off the other way. It's 2 points, right? Same play.
All right, so here's
Dalton
Cook's play. Right here, snap's been great all night. We get a bad one right here, kind of float it back there. For him to have, senior leader right here, this kid, he's a football player. He's, such an athlete that he has the composure to not panic. Keeps his cool. We make the fire call, which is our, hey, if we get a bad snap, high snap, we're going to yell fire. That lets these blockers know, hey, releasing a pass. And good job, all of them get the call, run their route seriously. And there's Gervais, one of the best receivers we got, and Gervais and Dalton know what to do with the ball. Dalton's a baseball player, so, not scared to let him throw it right there. And, it's almost like we planned it. So, great job making a bad thing into a good thing. We get 2 points instead of no points right there.
Heady player.
Yeah.
That's good to have on any team.
Absolutely. That's all right there.
All right.
Yep.
All right, well, like I said, we got homecoming coming up. Van Cleve, I think the game's still at 7, right?
Yep.
All the festivities happened before. Also, we got the Pink Out game coming up October 4th. I know the cheerleaders usually sell shirts if you're looking to get into that. Another news, softball's having a haunted house at the field or the facility Thursdays through Saturdays in October.
Nice.
But hopefully come out and see us get that second win in a row, get the streak going, and we'll be good to go. Coach, well, nice again.
Absolutely.
Before we
Thank you.
take off, I got one other thing to say. I got a happy 90th birthday to my mom.
Awesome. There you go.
Happy birthday, Mom, up in New York.
Happy
she always likes to
birthday.
watch people, what they say about me, so look out. All right, have a good night. Bulls Restaurant, Long Beach. Come see him.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Bearcat Nation would like to thank ABC Pawn and Jewelry, Pineville Road in Long Beach, for sponsoring the Bearcat football program.